Growing affluence among middle-class consumers in Asia is offering some great opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises. And among the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Indonesia and Malaysia are standing out as holding some of the greatest promise. Well, to discuss this is Dixon Ho, Principal Economist with the HKTDC. Well, I understand you and some of your colleagues have been studying some of these areas. Let's start with Indonesia. What have you been finding?
We found that it's a tremendous market. Just because of the very strong economic fundamentals of the country. And the country grew very strongly last year, and economic growth is expected to keep performing well, around 5 to 6% in the coming years. So the other thing is, as a big country with more than 240 million people, even though the per capita income level is low, but Indonesia has a huge population of middle-class households.
What did you notice in terms of sectors which hold some of the greatest promise?
Jakarta is the capital city and the business hub for the country, and a lot of things are going on there. For example, the number of malls have reached 70 in just a big city like Jakarta. And inside each shopping mall, there is a department store. So that means that there would be a very decent organized retail outlets for Hong Kong companies to consider. They can be selling a wide range of luxury products, lifestyle products. For example, they can be selling apparel, accessories, electronic and electrical items, watches and clocks, jewelry, and even shoes.
So I understand that you visited some other cities. What did you find in those areas?
Another city that we went into was Surabaya. That's the second largest city in Indonesia. It's smaller, has less population, but the thing is, it has a very decent purchasing power, which is not much different from Jakarta. There are more than 30 shopping malls in Surabaya, and you also find a lot of the international retailers trying to look for opportunities there. So we believe that for Hong Kong companies, if they want to target the Indonesian market, both Jakarta and Surabaya should be considered.
How about in Malaysia? What are you discovering there?
Well, Malaysia is a country with a lot of the middle-income people, or actually 75% of the people there can be considered middle-income consumers. So we believe that this is a very vibrant market and for Hong Kong companies to consider. In terms of purchasing power, like the per capita income of the country is more than 10,000 US dollars a year. So that means the people would be able to spend on a lot of discretionary items.
Which sectors then stand out in terms of opportunities in Malaysia?
I think the retail sector stands out very well, in particular in relation to the items of the lifestyle products, such as the jewelry products, and such as the apparel and accessories items. And besides, the food and beverages sector is also offering good opportunities too.
Is there any segment of the population that's standing out as having greater buying power now?
One market segment is the Chinese Malaysians, and these are the people which have on average a higher income, and their spending power is strong. Even though the Malaysian Chinese account for less than a quarter of the population in Malaysia. But in addition to the Chinese segment, we should also look at the broader market. That means that the Malay market, just because the Malay has accounted for a population of more than 60% of the people in Malaysia. And also their income is also growing over the years.
What about traders interested in tapping this market then in Malaysia? They're going to have to be looking very carefully at the way they market products.
Well, of course, because in Malaysia is basically a Muslim-dominated market. So if your products can also cater to the custom and tradition as well as the spending habit of the Malaysian majority there, that means your chances of being successful in this market will be higher.
What does that reflect about what's developing and what potential going forward there is in Asia?
Ever since 2008, and the ASEAN countries are performing very, very well. Even last year, the ASEAN as a whole grew by 4.9%, and given a very unconstructive external market. But as the external market improves this year, so we believe that the ASEAN market could grow by 5.3% this year. So just because of that, and there will be higher purchasing power too. So we believe that together with a broadening of the purchasing power base, there will be greater business opportunities for Hong Kong companies too.